30.1 run defense grade, ranked second to last. So not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Bobby Reynolds, joined in the Sode Shack with Adam Markham. Addy, how are we, honey?
Doing great. Doing very good. Good to be here with you, Bob. It's a real special treat for me.
This is not our second time recording this intro. This is definitely the first because Josh is not here and we are competent individuals.
Yeah, everything's been perfect.
Yep.
No mistakes.
Yep. We're not an hour late. We haven't struggled with the recording. Camera's doing awesome. And Rhodey's doing his thing over here. What we got?
Yes, sir.
Rhodey's feeling fine. So welcome in the IDP show. Glad to have you. Joshy's not here. He's in the Pacific Northwest with our good friend Lauren Lucas. It's me and Adam holding down the fort. We're watching Patrick Mahomes potentially lose. I don't know. Derek Carr's out, so it looks like maybe the Chiefs are going to pull out another gross victory again. But I don't know. Strange year.
Very strange year. Yeah, they seem to get weirder and weirder every single year. But this reminds me, like, as far as like oddness goes, it reminds me of like the COVID year. You know,
yeah,
just tons of just injuries and just, you know, tons of pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm getting a little better handle on it now that we're like 5 weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's been a annoying little start, but hopefully smooth sailing from here on out.
Yeah, it's been a doozy. The IDP's been a little weird too, and we'll talk about some weirder players later on. But me and Adam are going to hit you with about 10 points from Week 5's recap, some things that we think are worth noting, and we're going to hit you with some quick nugs here to finish up the episode. And we're going to talk about a little panic meter. Talk to you about a scale of 1 to 10, some guys that we're panicking on right now. But first point here for the week, Frankie Luvu. We still love you. After what we can admit is a little less than stellar start to the season, he only had 23 tackles, no big plays through the first 3 weeks. Frankie now has 14 tackles and 3 sacks to go with a forced fumble and 2 fumble recoveries. And that's in the last 2 games alone. He scored 36.8 points by Big 3 scoring just in Week 5. On 10 pass rush snaps, he recorded 5 pressures, 3 sacks, and a 93.5 PFF pass rush grade in Week 5. Adam, Frankie Luvu, pretty awesome.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, same old Frankie Luvu.
Yep.
His same old role. There was a lot of concern about, like, is this guy going to be, you know, on the edge 50 to 75% of the time? And that's not been the case. He still, you know, gets plenty of reps there, and he's converting those reps into sacks. So you love to see that. Mm-hmm. He's an awesome asset to have, man. Just, you know, you wish that the tackles would be more, but I mean, the sacks have been incredible pretty much every single year that he's been relevant for us. So, I mean, I think that he's a great fit there in Washington. Dan Quinn's got to be tickled to have him. So, yeah, I love him this year. Love him in Dynasty. I feel like he's going to be a guy that we're talking about, you know, 4 to 5 years from now.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's a weird little hybrid. I do wish the tackles would kind of tick up a little bit. That would make him, gosh, just even more fun. That would give him maybe like, you know, top 10 potential, I feel like, but he's just been really solid.
Make him a little unfair.
Yeah, a little cheat code.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
We're greedy little boys.
We are. We want more and more points.
Sure. Never enough.
No, not at all. Speaking of some fun things that were said this weekend, boy, speak up. They don't effing know. Maxx Crosby and his loving little speech to Bo Nix telling him to, dude, talk a little louder. But man, Maxx Crosby's been so good this season. Sacks week in and week out. Even in a loss this week, Crosby recorded 2 sacks to bring his season total to 5, 2 TFLs, 2 QB hits. Not to mention, he also has 17 tackles on the season. At age 27.1, Crosby here in Adam's Dynasty ranks at the IDPshow.com is still behind Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, Will Anderson. My question is, Adam, do we have Max too low?
Maybe. Yeah, you could make the argument, no doubt. I mean, he's, you know,
we're not going to put him above Aiden.
No, I think Aiden belongs at 1.
Yeah.
But then he's in the conversation, right?
Sure.
I mean, he's I think I'd still have Bosa at 2. But then, yeah, I think, you know, Maxx Crosby, he's fine. The argument with Crosby for me was that I was just a little worried about the mileage that he had on him.
Yeah.
You know, he dude plays basically all the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little unheard of for his position. I think we're going to start seeing more and more of that stuff, though, as obviously as these guys are getting paid more and training and whatnot just is different these days. So that'll probably be something that we see more moving forward. But I mean, still, it's impressive the volume this dude gets. So it's more of a wear and tear thing. And I think we saw him. He's already missed a game this season. So I mean, I may be right. Looking like I may be right.
As the Raiders get worse and worse, is there any? You think that there's any validity to the Devontae Adams trade?
Yeah, I think so.
What about Maxx Crosby? You hear him come out and say, "If you're moving Devontae, you're moving me too."
Oh, did he say that?
You got to send both of us, which is not at all how that works, Max.
Yeah, Max. He's like a lot older than you.
But it would be cool to see Max go somewhere, right?
Yeah, it'd be great. And that may happen, I mean, it seems like the Antonio Pierce era is probably going to be short-lived.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after that, I mean, anything's basically up in the air, I think. So, yeah, we could see him get moved. I mean, I think the Raiders would be pretty smart to answer the call and field some offers. I mean, if you can get top dollar for a guy like that at this point, like, where they're at as a franchise, like it's not gonna matter if they have Maxx Crosby or not.
And Maxx Crosby is a guy in Dynasty that I feel like I might want to go try to put some feelers out for right now. I mean,
to trade for?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are probably like, "Gosh, Maxx Crosby just doing the thing every single year." Just get a little bit tired of it. Get a little bit greedy. I don't know. I just feel like
getting bored. Don't know what they got.
I mean, 27.1 years old. I honestly, before I looked at that, I thought he's got to be older. He's got to be like 28, 29, pushing 30, but 27.1, that's a ripe age.
That is no big deal, especially when you see like Kyle Van Noy balling out, like Alex Van Ginkel, he's 30.
Even Khalil Mack last year.
Mack, exactly. So, I mean, like Maxx Crosby is going to be one of those types where like he's, still very relevant at 33, 34.
JJ Watt retired 12 seasons in. He was 33 years old when he hung it up. The next player here we're going to talk about, we would be remiss to not talk about 100 sacks in a career for TJ Watt. That's just amazing. That's a crazy career for anybody to have. Better
probably
yet,
get another 60 to 80, I'd say.
In the short amount of time that TJ Watt has done that. Since 2018, TJ Watt has only recorded a season pass rush grade under 90 once. And this is something that I looked up. But yeah, JJ Watt played a mere 12 seasons in the NFL. And I believe that we would both say, honestly, I think JJ retired a little bit too early. He was looking pretty freaking awesome in 2022. And I don't know, if his body was just breaking down on him or what. But did you know that formerly known as the Big Three IDP podcast, TJ Watt has recorded a mere 85 sacks since our humble beginnings, which is crazy to even say. But going back to what I was talking about with JJ Watt, so if he played 12 seasons in the NFL, and if that time frame looks similar for TJ, that means we get 4 more years of TJ Watt after the 2024 season. So, Addy, you buying?
Yeah, I think so. I bought last season, when I was contending.
Yeah.
I think I paid like a late first.
Yeah.
Fine. Still paying that probably, if I feel like I'm going to be in a window for a little bit, just because I think that, I mean, JJ Watt is a piece that not a lot of people have, he's one of one. He can put up 40 multiple times in your fantasy season. So, I mean, I think he's worth, you don't want to go crazy and throw like 2 firsts at him or whatever. But
sure.
If you can get him for a late first, I mean, I know we hate throwing first around, and especially for IDPs, but like he is somebody that like I'll consider doing it for.
Those points per game, looking back over the last couple of years, that's worth a first.
Yeah, man.
That's worth a first. I brought TJ in this week. We've talked about a little bit of trades that I've done, but ever since you talked about Derwin James and like let's sell him now and we'll buy him back later type of thing. With TJ Watt, he feels like the buy category right now, to where people are kind of getting a little bored, kind of like Maxx Crosby. They've just been so good for so long. It just people in Dynasty get bored. They get tired. They want to make trades. They need that little kick of youth on their team and everything. They want to be the one that calls the next guy coming up. And meanwhile, like, I don't know, you've made a big brain change up here in my head. Made a big influence on old IDP Bob.
What's very similar to like people that got out like on Alvin Kamara
exactly
a year or 2 ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta get rid of this before it's completely worthless.
They're so worried the cliff is coming soon.
It's like, you just know he's
Yeah.
a legend, and
Yeah.
he's gonna be a beast as long as he's playing. And it's gonna be the same thing with JJ Watt.
Exactly. Yeah, I love TJ. That was a good move for me this week. Pat on the old back, Bob.
Yeah, never a bad idea to bring that guy in.
For sure.
Good for your locker room too.
Addy, this next one's for you. AVG has been anything but AVG in 2024. That's a good one.
That's very good.
It's a good line right there. Too bad
Pretty
I couldn't
good.
say it just off the cuff.
We can redo it.
That's all right. Josh isn't here. We don't want to make him cut stuff. Van Ginkel's interception in week 5 now gives him 2 on the season, as well as his second pick 6 in 2024. He also has 3 sacks, 19 tackles this season, playing an average of 73.6% snaps so far in the 2024 season. Van Gink's interception came on a play where the Vikings defense was showing cover 0. Flores chose to drop Van Gink into coverage, leaving Rodgers throwing a quick slant intended for Garrett Wilson, a player that I think is overrated, where AVG picks it, returns it 60 yards for the TD. Another guy that I like on Twitter, I don't get on Twitter a ton, but one guy that I do follow, Brian Baldinger, tweeted, with his second pick 6 in 5 weeks, he is a playmaker on this defense. Is he the DPOY through 5 weeks?
Wow. I mean, he's got to be in consideration. That's crazy to say, but I mean, he's made a massive impact there in Minnesota. And here's a stat I pulled. He's one of 4 edge rushers to already have 3 top 15 finishes this year.
Wow.
It's just 5 weeks, folks. So 3 of his 5 games he's had top 15 finishes. So
really good company.
Other 3 guys have done that this year: TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, and then Kyle Van Noy. So really good look for your boy.
Yeah.
AVG, KVN.
Yeah.
Big part of the brand
the
past year. So love to see it.
Doing great.
Good stuff for us.
AVG's awesome, mate. That pick 6 was awesome. Aaron Rodgers is pretty washed. Let's give some more.
And both his last 2 games, he's gone over 80% of the snaps for AVG. So I mean,
yeah,
they're playing him a ton.
Dallas Turner a little banged up.
Yeah, he was a little banged up, but also, I mean, it's just going to be a little bit for him. Like we talked about that a lot this summer. They're fine there.
Mm-hmm.
Gernard and Van Ginkel are both very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Pat Jones tearing it up too.
Yep.
He's like among the league leaders in sacks right now. So there's just not really room for him right now, but his time's coming. The dude's 21. Like they don't need him right now.
Congratulations for the season your Vikes are having.
Pretty cool.
That's fun.
Pretty cool. I like that people are starting to believe in us.
Yeah.
I'm still not there. We're gonna absolutely blow this at some point, but it is fun for now.
Kevin O'Connell's good, man.
He's awesome.
He's a good coach, especially if you've got a quarterback that's been just brainwashed in Sam Darnold. He's a breath of fresh air for old Darnold. Let's give a little bit more credit. Let's give some credit to the boy Evan Ringler for Dexy is just so sexy in 2024. It appears as though the career PFF pass rush grades are finally catching up to Dexter Lawrence, and those pressures are quickly turning into sacks in 2024. Dexter now has recorded 5 sacks in 24 and has 18 pressures through 4 weeks. I didn't pull the info from this week because it wasn't available yet. But, Addy, you currently have Lawrence as the IDL 8 at the IDPshow.com in your dynasty ranks at age 26.9. Would you consider moving him above Chris Jones, Ed Oliver, Byron Murphy, Jeffrey Simmons? I forget what Justin Madubuike's first name is now.
Namdi
M, Jalen Carter, or Big Q.
Yeah, I mean, probably half that list. Definitely haven't updated this since his 3-sack game.
Sure.
So, he's definitely arrow up right now. But I think I'd rather have him over Chris Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably rather have him over Ed Oliver. And then I'm scared to bump him up too much over like Byron Murphy. I think Byron Murphy can be very good long term.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think those guys are all right in there, together. I mean, but yeah, Dexter Lawrence, he's a stud and probably has more sack upside than I was thinking he would this offseason. I love Dexter Lawrence, but he was someone that I didn't really see getting ever over 10 sacks.
Yeah.
The dude's at 6 right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he might be.
He's a 5.
One of those types. He's just he's like 340 pounds. Like
Yeah.
you don't normally see those
He's
guys.
not quite the Aaron Donald
Right.
body.
Yeah.
But hey, to each his own. He's nimble. He knows how to get to the
And
quarterback.
I mean, you're right. The pressure stuff has been absolutely insane the last 2 years. So I mean,
and there's going to be some tilting managers because like Chris Jones has kind of been slow. Ed Oliver's been a little slow. Jeffrey Simmons has been pretty slow. Namdi has been just turtle's pace.
yeah,
I don't know that he has a sack on the season.
Probably not. And everyone saw that one coming. Right?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
that was a massive.
Everybody's bidding like Justin M is just about to turn into Aaron Donald. Let's get to the next one. 0.6 here. Edge, you're in. Cooper.
Pretty good right there.
Hey, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
That was
hey,
a great one.
That's
10
why
out
they're
of 10.
here. They're here for that stuff.
Are the Packers going to be able to continue keeping Cooper off the field? Cooper now has 16 tackles through 5 weeks to go with 1.5 sacks, a fumble recovery with his first full sack coming this past week. Cooper is actually being used a lot in these defensive stunts for the Packers. You know, the front four rush. Cooper will find a lane kind of delayed and get to the quarterback, which I think he's, really good at. He actually got home against Stafford this week. He's being used in a lot of those sub packages. So, moving forward, do you think, Addy, I mean, I'm sure you've watched a little bit of Green Bay. You've watched a little bit of Edgerrin Cooper, a guy that a lot of people pegged as, kind of looking like a little discount Ernest Jones coming into the draft. Looks kind of similar to Ernest Jones, especially the pass rush metrics. Ernest was always able to get to the quarterback in LA. Man, is Green Bay going to be able to keep Cooper off of the field and keep playing? I almost said Keeson Nixon, not Keeson Nixon, but Isaiah McDuffie.
Yeah, I think that McDuffie's time's about up, man.
Yeah.
If you look at the snap percentages, McDuffie, we'll start from week 1 through 5. 97% of the snaps week 1, 89% week 2, 78% week 3, 76 week 4, 59% week 5. Look at Edgerrin Cooper's week 1, 14%, week 2, 13%, week 3, 33%, week 4, 31%, week 5, 38%.
Man.
Different arrows right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Edgerrin Cooper's time is it's starting to come now. We're seeing it. And then I imagine like by the time, we're 2/3 of the way through the season, it's probably going to be, Edgerrin Cooper playing 70% of the snaps.
Yeah.
McDuffie's an afterthought.
Yeah. Any worry with Quay?
I mean, Quay's still he's still leading right now in snaps. They're not pulling him.
Yeah.
So the guy that they're pulling is McDuffie. So I think, they're gonna let it be Quay and Edgerrin Cooper. And yeah, I mean, that's they invested high draft capital in Quay Walker. They're gonna give him a little bit longer. So
would you sell Quay in Dynasty?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what can I get is I'm not really sure like what the market's view on him is. Like I don't know that I could get more than a second, but he does feel a bit like a Devin White type. Like where it's like it's gonna end.
But it falls off. It's gonna fall off quick.
And then like it's gonna end a lot earlier than people think it is,
Yeah, so right now, the IDPshow.com, Adams ranks, you have him as the LB27, bookended there by Christian Harris, Trenton Simpson. Again, and when you're getting to 12, LB27, you're splitting hairs. We could talk, all afternoon, all night about, do you really want Devin Lloyd? You want Quay Walker? I mean, you're splitting hairs there. But yeah, man, I think I agree with you. Quay Walker does seem to be the type to where if the PFF grades start slipping for him.
They've never been great.
No.
And I think they are kind of like still not great.
And Edgerrin Cooper is not a great thing for Quay.
No.
If they just had bad linebacking play there, it would be one thing. I mean, Quay would look better, and it's like, we just got Quay, so we're just going to have to play him. But now with Edgerrin Cooper playing better.
And you got Tyron Hopper there too. They drafted in the 3rd round.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's just you never like to see like more competition brought in, especially like
for sure
drafted in the first 2-3 rounds.
Yeah. Agreed. Addy, you want to handle these last 4 little nugs for us?
Yeah, let me get pulled up over here real fast.
Before we get to the panic meter, we're going to talk about, I don't know, I'd say 10 to 15 little players and a little scale of 1 to 10. How much are we panicking on them?
Yeah, that's right around the corner. I wanted to get in here and touch on a few guys that we needed to show love to, had to show love to them.
Absolutely.
Definitely going to sound familiar. You've heard me talk about these guys before. Derick Hall in, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You like that I'm keeping Bob's
I
thing
do.
going?
I
So
do.
I think that's a pretty good start for me. Not many players hotter than Derick Hall right now, folks. Over his last 3 games, he's finished as the DL2, DL31, and DL11 in Big 3 scoring. 19 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles on 64% of the snaps this season. He's averaging 16.9 points per game. That's 10th best among all defensive linemen. 15.7% pressure rate. That's 19th best among all defensive linemen. 76.4 overall PFF grade, ranks 21st among edge rushers. Crushing it.
Woo!
Crushing it.
Is it opportunity or is it talent?
I mean, I think he's talented. He's good.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, he's gotten a little lucky with, there being an opportunity there with injuries to Uchenna the first 4 weeks. Boye's been a little banged up, but he's done the most with it. He's looked great. He's performed. He's crushing it, man. It's going to be hard to shy away from him going forward. I think he's at least carved himself out, a 50% snap share.
Creeping up the dynasty ranks, edge 35,
A nice piece.
23.6 years old.
If you follow the IDP show, you have Derick Hall.
Oh, for sure.
This is someone that we've been talking about
For a while. Dude, 9.4 RAS.
Yeah, he's a low-key athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Was productive in college. Everything you want to see. Drafted to a great team with a good defensive mind.
And honestly, that's a great place for opportunity. We like Uchenna, but Uchenna hasn't been great for a year or so now.
That's another great point, dude. I mean, Uchenna was not part of that, new regime.
That's
He
true.
was brought in with the old group. So I mean, yeah, they don't have any loyalty to him.
Yeah. Boye struggles to stay healthy.
Right. I mean, Derick Hall, like if he's going out here and producing and playing well, I mean, I don't think that they're gonna stop doing that all of a sudden.
Could you buy Derick Hall right now?
I think you could. You can probably go. You probably could have picked him up. I think people were still like hesitant to get on board with him. But yeah, I think you could probably get him for maybe a fourth. I mean, it's tough, man. I feel like
Would you give a third for him?
I feel like the people that
know.
Yeah, they already have him, man.
Yeah.
Like you
if you're
aware of Derick Hall, you already like he was already free for you. You were already
Yeah.
staring at him all off season. Like you, as soon as Uchenna news was out there, like you immediately went and picked up Derick Hall. So I mean,
they're gonna want a second. They're gonna be cocky.
Yeah, and no, you're not getting a second.
Yeah,
shouldn't expect a second. Could he be worth that? Yeah, maybe so. But yeah, it's one of those deals where like either you got him or you didn't. I'm not going to go out and pay a third for him now.
Yeah, for sure.
If I can get him for a fifth or someone wants to be stupid and just give him to me, yeah, I'll take him.
I love that. Snap percentage is pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Good gosh. He's playing, roughly 60 to 70% every single week.
But we'll see once if all 3 of those guys are healthy at once, we'll see how it looks, because that's not been the case at all yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of that, concern that maybe the snaps dip way down again, but I don't think so, dude. I mean, I don't see how you could do that.
Yep. Agreed. You can't put that back on the shelf.
Nope.
We've already seen it.
All right. Will, I'm loving it. McDonald. 10 tackles, 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble on 57% of the snaps this season. And he's also coming off a season high snap share of 68% against the Vikings. He's averaging 16.9 points per game this season as well. That ranks 12th among all defensive linemen. PFF numbers spell out a pretty one-dimensional player, though. 19 pressures on 111 pass rush snaps. That's a 17.1% pressure rate, so that's elite. That's 13th among all defensive linemen. But 26.8 tackle grade, that ranks dead last, and a 30.1 run defense grade, ranks second to last. So not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
I think the delay makes it better.
Sorry for the delay there.
I think it makes it better.
Is Will McDonald just now new Bryce Huff or better?
I think he's a little better.
Okay.
I think he's got a much higher ceiling. Like I think we could see 15 sacks pretty easily out of him.
Okay.
Multiple times. But yeah, I don't think we're too far off from that type of player, right? Like,
Yeah.
Bryce Huff got 10 sacks and he averaged 10 points per game last season. Will McDonald could get 15 sacks, but still it's only like 13, 14 points per game. And it's a lot of like zeros and then 30 points one week.
Big three scoring week 1, 0.75, week 2, 40.4, week 3, 27.45, week 4, 2.0, week 5, 15.7.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like a Chris Jones type,
That's beautiful analysis to where this is a one track player right here, one track mind. Now, I don't worry about tackles. I just worry about sacks.
And that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Oh, for sure.
As my edge too, like to have a guy that has that type of ceiling, like, yeah, sign me up,
Yep.
So, yeah, we talked about yeah, that's kind of about how I feel about him. And then, I mean, there's a lot of potential for him to be even more than that. Like we're painting him as one dimension right now, but this is a second year. He was a guy that was raw. But I mean, he's got all the makings. He looks like one of these great pass rushers. You watch him, you're like, damn, this dude is. He does get like blown up a decent amount, but there are times where like he is just immediately in the backfield, and you can tell that like he's getting better.
Yeah, don't forget 15th overall pick in the first round in 2023. So got draft capital, 9.66 RAS. This guy's been waiting in the wings.
Yep.
That Bryce Huff trade for the Jets looks amazing now. The Hassan Reddick thing is just continuing to be weird.
Yeah, and who cares about him? I'm not even worried about him coming back.
We talked about that last week. Cast him off. Don't even look back. Go get Will McDonald and don't worry about Hassan Reddick at this point. Because Bryce Huff has been very...
A lot of board utilization.
We're working this board out tonight.
That's
Josh
right.
has been delaying.
Y'all been asking for it.
That's Josh's fault. All right, let me get back over here to the dock so I can see what's coming next for Maddie.
All right. Key to success. Smith balls out in a big moment, folks. 69.3 overall PFF grade this season for Tykee Smith. That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
In case you
There you
didn't
go.
pick that up.
Put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. But yeah, Tykee Smith played 99% of the snaps this last Thursday night, racked up 11 tackles, 1 PD, 1 forced fumble. Pretty good stuff. He's playing 96% of his snaps in the slot or the box, mainly slot, but getting I think he's got like 20 box snaps, which is great for a cornerback. But yeah, Tykee Smith, with us kind of taking over the prep for this episode, I had to make sure I got Tykee Smith in here.
I almost put him in earlier, and I didn't for some reason. I don't know, something came up. But my only question with Tykee Smith is the PFF numbers haven't been amazing, but he's 5 years into his rookie campaign, so they're not to be expected to be 80, 90, But my other question would be, do things change when Antoine Winfield comes back?
I still think he's going to be man in that slot. I think Winfield probably plays, a lot more free safety.
Yeah.
But I think Tykee Smith, I think that's what they brought him in there to do. And yeah, I mean, the PFF grade, it's not,
who cares? Let him learn.
And it's not terrible. Again, 69, like that's very nice.
Yep.
And I'm just encouraged to see the dude out there. He's a 3rd round pick. Like to see him already get he's almost got 300 snaps this season. Like that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's making plays in big moments. He forced a fumble there in a crucial spot that last game. So, yeah, just super encouraged by Tykee Smith. Love that dude. That was one of my guys this offseason as far as rookies go. So love to see him starting out the way he is.
Been so far, probably the best rookie DB.
Yeah, I mean, there's not been a lot of candidates, right? I mean,
Cole Bishop.
Yeah,
has got some PT.
DeJean, no.
Yeah.
Newbin's been not great to start. So yeah, I mean, he's up there. Oddly enough.
Crazy to say.
All right. Zach Allen. I don't really know what to do with his name.
Name Zach Allen.
Yeah, get a better name, Zach. How about that, bud? Not giving me a lot to work with here. 21 tackles, 3 sacks this season. Also, I had to shout out Zach Allen because I think we got a little bit of grief about not mentioning him lately. When it's true, we got to do better.
Here he is.
I love me some Zach Allen. Always been a big fan of this guy. He's currently the defensive tackle 2.
Wow.
DL 14. in Big Three scoring, 16.2 points per game this season. This guy's averaging 5.8 pressures per game. That ranks third best among all defensive linemen, 73.7 overall pass rush grade. That is eighth best among all defensive tackles. Look at these snap percentages too for him. First 5 games, 97%, 92%, 86%, 100%, 90%.
Wow.
Is this Maxx Crosby wearing a JJ Watt elbow brace? Pretty good.
Love that.
Pretty good stuff.
Now, Zach Allen's been amazing, man. In a year where the D tackles have come on pretty slow, for Zach Allen to be sitting here as the DT2 is pretty impressive. I mean, like, there's definitely been some letdown from, we've already talked about it, from Big Q, hasn't done much so far. Jeffrey Simmons has been quiet.
All of them been pretty much butt.
Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. You know, I mean, who's your D tackle in the XFL?
I got Dexter Lawrence, thank God.
Wow, look at you.
But I mean, you know, it wasn't like it's
Christian
really just
Wilkins.
felt great this week.
Yeah.
Like it's not been that great.
Yeah, I miss Aaron Donald.
Yeah, no one's built like that anymore.
The Rams really miss Aaron Donald too. You can tell that. You know, just random plays where Aaron Donald would just wreck the quarterback on a 2nd and 6, and all of a sudden you're looking at 3rd and 16. It's just, man.
Yeah,
that's a missed presence. Missed presence. Yeah, Tykee Smith, that's a good one. Zach Allen, that's a good one to finish as well. I like those, Addy. Hopefully the YouTube crowd is happy, because I think that's where that was from. YouTube gave us a little grief for not talking Zach Allen. So before we get to some little nuggets at the end, I want to talk about a little panic meter. You know, we're 5 weeks in now. We've got enough info to kind of give a gauge on where we are on some of these guys. So I kind of we'll give both of our answers here. Scale of 1 to 10, and let's talk about let's just talk about whether, you know, we're looking to trade them right now or whether we're going to just kind of stay the course. 1 being, you know, we're good, don't worry about it. 10 being, you know, I'd start worrying. So the first guy here I want to talk about, Danielle Hunter. So far through 5 weeks has 13 tackles, 1.5 sacks. Was signed as a new defensive end there for the Houston Texans and D'Amico Ryans this last offseason. So, Addy, what's your scale here for Danielle Hunter?
I feel like he's going to turn it around, right?
Yeah.
I mean, him and Will Anderson both have just gotten off to a really slow start, but I don't feel like that's going to continue.
Yeah.
So, now am I like wanting to go pay top dollar for him? Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw someone tweeted at us the other day about someone was offering him like a second round pick for Danielle Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe they're like someone was trying to sell them Danielle Hunter for a second. I'm not buying him.
Yeah.
Like that.
I
I mean,
agree.
I know he's been worth that probably, but he's 30 almost.
Yeah.
I would just rather go about the position a different way at this point. I also worry about him getting hurt. Like he's different, and like he's not like TJ Watt, to where like if TJ Watt gets hurt, like I don't think his value is going to be impacted that much. Whereas like if Danielle Hunter gets hurt, like no one's going to want him.
Yeah.
No one's going to want him. He's going to be, you're going to have to ride out whatever injury situation it is. And it just worries me with him.
Anytime you've had a guy like Danielle that's had that, you know, whatever he had, the neck fusion or that major, you know, neck, the same thing Peyton Manning had. Going into your 30s is just always a little different. I don't know. I guess for me, panic wise,
30s are hard.
Yeah, they're real tough. I'm probably pretty panicked with Danielle. I would say I'm a 6. I'd say I'm a 6 or so.
And yeah, I mean, it is like, is it a scheme thing where it's just like not a good fit?
Yeah.
You know, like they thought they could make it work, but it just wasn't a good fit for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I think I think if you're like, if you're able to buy low, like if you can get this guy for a third, I think that's pretty sharp.
Agreed. Yeah, I think I would probably.
Although, would you rather have Andrew Van Ginkel for a third?
I think if I have Danielle, I'm probably just riding it out, because nobody's probably coming to offer for Danielle right now. But I'm not going to give a third for Danielle. I'm with you. I'm probably going to get a guy like AVG. You know, I might be going to get a guy like Nick Herbig.
Yeah, or Kyle Inouye for a 4th or 5th,
Exactly.
like one of those types.
We'll farm one. Lawrence Armstrong.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in paying, you know, really anything significant for Danielle Hunter, who I think that doesn't move the needle enough for me.
I agree. I don't know. I'm interested on your take on this one. So panic meter right here for Rashawn Gary. 11 tackles and 0 sacks through 5 weeks. Was listening a little bit to the PFF Fantasy Football podcast with one of our favorites, John Macri. And Macri was talking about how if Rashawn Gary didn't get home against this atrocious, extremely, injury-laden offensive line that is the Los Angeles Rams, that he was going to be pretty concerned. And here we are coming off of another week where Rashawn Gary hasn't recorded a whole lot of pressures, didn't get any sacks. Scale of 1 to 10 here on Rashawn Gary. I am probably a 7.
Yeah, I mean, probably 8 or 9 for me.
Yeah, even more so.
Yeah, just not interested. You know,
Mhm.
the advanced metrics don't match the fantasy production.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm just not. I don't think the ceiling is there for that dude.
Mhm.
So I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
Already had he's had some major injuries, the torn ACL.
Yeah.
I know players can recover from that stuff a lot easier these days, but still, it's like it's under his belt. If he gets another one, it's not good.
Also, too, his end of the season stats look better when he groups a lot of these 2 and 3 sack games together.
Yeah, and no one's playing him
Exactly.
because he's been asked for like the 3 straight weeks before.
Speaking of a very similar player, panic scale on Josh Hines Allen, 15 tackles and 2 sacks through week 5. Had a pretty amazing year last year. I don't have off the top of my head how many sacks he had. He had a ton in 2023, but now 2 sacks through 5 weeks. How worried are you?
He's probably like a little bit of a souped up Rashawn Gary, right?
Okay.
Like I like him a little more than Rashawn Gary, but he's also one of those guys. It's like he's going to be frustrating.
Yeah, similar track.
Yeah, it's like he's viewed as a top 10 asset as far as edge rushers go, but that doesn't mean that he's still not going to be frustrating.
Yeah,
or still going to disappear for stretches. And so he's not someone that I mean, again, if someone else is getting frustrated and sharing these same thoughts, then I will go out and buy him for like a 3rd plus.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm not interested in giving away 2nd round picks for him.
What could you sell Josh Allen for?
I think you can get a 2nd. I think you can get a 2nd, but you're not going to get it from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although maybe, I mean, maybe I could.
Look at him.
I mean, I'm trying to think like there's a situation like in our RSO league.
Betrayal.
We need to use that one. That's like my favorite.
That's a great one.
All the time.
It's a great one.
Shout out Halo. One of the GOAT video games.
Oh yeah.
But like Macri he's loaded up
at
defensive end. He has
it's
like
annoying.
Yeah, like Nick Bosa, Maxx Crosby, Josh Allen,
Rashawn
Rashawn Gary, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's like a situation like they're like, could I get Josh Allen for a deal just because this guy's loaded up,
For sure.
But still probably not. I mean, I think anyone selling him is going to want a 2nd. Like I just feel like selling a 3rd for Josh Allen, like I'll just keep him.
Yeah.
I'll just keep him and roll. And like, hopefully my team's in a situation where he's my edge 2.
Yeah.
I do have him, like he's in this perfect spot, like where he is on Macri's team, where where Macri has Bosa and Crosby. It's like whatever Josh Allen does is gravy, right?
And that's how Macri plays his weeks. He puts in his flex whoever he doesn't have in his defensive end spot.
And that's
so he's rolling 3 out.
Great way to do it.
Yeah, whereas a lot of guys are rolling out, 4 linebackers. Macri's rolling out 3 defensive ends, and he beat me this week. So
there'll be some weeks where those guys combine for 7 sacks.
Yeah, you suck, Macri.
You can't handle that.
All right, so let me get your read on this one. I don't know how you'll feel on this panic meter, but Dallas Turner, 6 tackles, 1 sacks on 27.25% of snaps so far this season.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier, I think, right? Like, I'm not concerned about him. Like, I wasn't planning on using him this year, like, or him being a factor this year.
Yeah,
right? So yeah, he's 21.
Okay,
he was 2 years younger than Law 2 and Verse. Like, I think I mentioned a lot that people will need to cool the expectations that also both those guys are probably going to look a lot better than Turner to start, and that's what's happening. But just different situations, right? Those guys are like Law 2 and Verse are both like needed. Like they're both in situations where they need, like, their teams need them to play like 70% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not reality with Turner. Also, this team's 5-0. Like he's edge 4 right now, you know? with
Yeah.
what they got going on.
And Turner's been banged up a little bit so far this
Right.
season too. So I don't think you're getting, week 1 looked awesome.
Yeah. Now maybe towards the end of the year, like they start, we start getting like 40 to 50% Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
But I still don't think that
They're just gonna throw him into the wolves.
I just don't think he's really ready yet. I'm still like super pumped about him.
Yeah.
He's still the
Same.
Abby,
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna be fine.
For sure.
But you got to be patient in this game, and I think this is the latest example of one of those types.
All right. Next one. Nnamdi Majibikwe, 10 tackles, 1.5 sacks.
Yeah, you should be worried. I mean, we told you that he was probably gonna
regression
big time. So that's what you're seeing now. I mean, it started about as bad as it could.
Yeah. Goodbye time, maybe,
but it's like people are gonna be selling for last year's production.
Yeah.
And
if you've got him, you paid a lot for him.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, he was going like in the 3rd, 4th round of these IDP only best balls this offseason. So people are invested heavily in him. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too panicked, I guess. It's probably more like a 4 or 5. I think as far as like defensive tackles go, like he's still a good option. He still has like upside, like nice sack upside.
And D tackle can be like this. They're not going to get a sack every week.
There's not been very many good defensive tackles. That's why we're having these conversations. Like, is Quinnen Williams or Jeffrey Simmons, are they still any good? Yeah, they're still really, really good. Just they're not producing right now.
Yeah, pay attention to the metrics. As long as the metrics stay high.
Yeah.
Getting some pressures. Pass rush grade is good. They're going to get home.
Nobody's producing right now.
No.
No. It's Dexter Lawrence and Zach Allen and
0. That's it.
Kobe Turner finally came through with this. Another one of those examples, like where it was like the pressures were there, but the sacks weren't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those situations.
Yeah. Kobe Turner and Fisk are fun in LA. I hope they can figure it out. Next one, Montez Sweat, 8 tackles, 2 sacks, forced fumble.
I'm not a big Montez Sweat guy.
Yeah. You never have rostered him in a lot of spots.
So, if I can sell him,
probably would.
I'm definitely selling him.
You bring a second.
If I can get a second, goodbye. Because he's in that. He doesn't deserve to be looked at as middle. He doesn't deserve to be looked at as like a top 12 edge option.
He's like a 15 to 30.
Right. I think so too. I want him my edge too.
Yeah. His free agency stuff, or he get traded? It was a trade. Maybe it was free agency. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was traded in season, right?
Yeah, but that little payday that he got was like, there wasn't a whole lot of other options at edge at the time. It was just kind of like, the Bears need anybody.
True, right. They were in a bad spot. Yeah, they were desperate. They traded like a 3rd or I think it was a 3rd round pick for him.
Maybe.
So it's like they kind of felt like they
also gave it second for Chase Claypool. So
that's true.
A couple bad moves in a row there made by Ryan Pace. Lucas Van Ness, 12 tackles, 1 sack, forced fumble.
Yeah, I thought it would be a little better for him to start this season, but I still feel like he was one of those guys that was going to be like a year 3, year 4 type. So I'm willing to like be patient on him. If he gets dropped in your dynasty leagues, like scoop him up.
Yeah.
I think he's someone that is still a good hold.
For sure.
So
Will Levis is on the TV with his shirt off. No bull. There you go.
Wow.
I've seen his Mayo commercial too. It's interesting. Speaking of Mayo, what about Yaya Diaby? That was a terrible little segue. Mayo, I thought those would work together, but they surely didn't. 11 tackles, 1 sack, and a fumble forced. Addy, you have a pretty firm thought here on Yaya.
Yeah, I think he's maybe the biggest buy on this entire list.
Let's go.
He's 5th in pressure rate right now, 17.8%, and he's 7th in pressures per game.
Wow.
And also remember, like, he was dealing with like a high ankle sprain to start the season. So yeah, and even without the sacks, he's still been like quietly pretty solid for you. Like he's still getting like around like 10, 11 points per game, I think. So when the sacks do come, I mean, he could be a nice little piece for us. So yeah, I like him quite a bit. Still super young. There's his year 2 for him. Not a lot of talent around him. So, I mean, I think he's going to be the edge one there in Tampa Bay. So that should mean pretty healthy snap share. And again, like I said, those pressures and all the PFF stuff is there and looks great. So I trust that the sacks and the stuff we want's coming.
I do hope that Kalijah Kancey can get back on the field soon.
Me too, man.
I do miss him.
Me too. That was actually one of my dark horse DT1s this year on the Macri episode. I had Kalijah Kancey, and Zach Allen was my other one that I don't think I mentioned on the episode, but he was. I did the prep work and everything for it.
Nice.
So, oh well.
There's some D tackles if you're hurting. Pay attention to Kalijah Kancey, and then another guy I added this week, Keanu Benton is back.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I don't know what his snap percentage was this week, but
he's good. Gervin Dexter seems like he's kind of breaking out a little bit. So I think he's a solid option if he's still out there for you. But
there's always good DTs that you can kind of mine them midseason. All right, let's get to some linebackers.
You can get ahead, or you can, if you're paying attention, you can get these guys before they break out. Right?
Exactly.
Like Dexter Lawrence is one of those types. That's the one I'm thinking of right now. But I know there's other examples.
I mean, even
Zach Allen.
Justin M was that way a couple years ago.
Yes, perfect. Yes, Justin M, Zach Allen, all those types. Zach Sealer last year, right?
You kind of see the sacks coming slowly. Even Macri's guy, the blood clots this year. Christian
Barmore, same thing.
He had a slow burn,
Yep.
The PFF grades for Barmore were always great. He just never could kind of get it to work out. Isn't there another good D tackle up there in New England right now?
If you want to classify Keon White.
Yeah. He plays inside a lot. I know he's labeled as a DN in a lot of places, but he is inside pretty often.
He's a big boy.
Let's get to this one. I'm interested in these next couple here. Patrick Queen, 30 tackles, no big plays in 25. Panic meter for you there, Addy.
Yeah, I mean, not great. He was someone that I was kind of coming around there. There was a month there where I was kind of thinking about Patrick Queen. I remember I was hyping up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's usually how the offseason goes, right? Sure. We're out here drafting. We're different takes at different times, right? It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a little bit better. I didn't think it was gonna be this damn bad.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 tackles and that's it. And then the PFF grade's been terrible.
Been about a 30.
Yeah, right. I know. It matches his grades. So, I'm not really. I mean, I'm definitely not going out and buying because I mean, he's going to cost at least a third.
Yeah, at least.
No.
Yeah, that's another one of those sunk costs where all these guys are sitting there with Pat Queen because they gave too much for him or they drafted him too high.
Yep.
And the other thing with Pat Queen too is that you've got the Peyton Wilson problem. He's right there. He's just nipping at his heels. I feel like.
Yep, he's coming.
So, anyways, Trenton Simpson, 25 tackles, a half a sack, 70.2% of snaps. It's dropped a little bit over the last couple of weeks. His snap percentage was pretty high there to begin the season, but Trenton Simpson has taken a little bit of a hit here in the last couple of weeks. So, I guess maybe for my panic scale, I'm not worried long term, but the Trenton Simpson stuff is definitely. It's regressed a little bit. I thought we were getting 100% snaps. I was like, oh gosh, is he about to just, play every snap with Roquan? But it's scaled back a touch.
Yeah, I agree. You want the dude to come in and they don't have a choice. You're playing 100% of the snaps. Right?
Exactly.
And that's not been the case here. And so it feels like, who's it feel like? It feels like Patrick Queen.
Exactly.
And how much of a struggle that was early on in his career. And then you see him get away from Baltimore and struggle.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe he is just not that great. It's not like they were just being mean to him.
Yeah.
He has some issues.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of that's the vibe I'm getting now with Trent Simpson a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could get better for him. If we do see him become like that, it'll be like Queen. It'll when, his third or fourth year, whenever he finally
figures it out.
Yeah, he got 90% of the snaps. Then you start talking yourself into it, okay.
Yeah.
All right, some team gives him a big contract. Oh, baby.
2026.
The best is yet to come.
Trenton Simpson's going to be elite. And then when he's a free agent in 27,
right.
Let him rip.
That's right.
Sell him. Jordan Brooks. I don't know. This might not be one that you're panicking on at all. But Jordan Brooks, 39 tackles and a sack so far through 5 weeks.
No, I like Jordan Brooks, I think. I mean, he's the one linebacker that I feel good about there in Miami.
Okay.
It's David Long and Anthony Walker. And
gross.
They gave Jordan Brooks, 3 years, $30 million, I think, somewhere around there. So.
Channing Tindall.
Yeah, right. Remember him? I feel good about Brooks. I think he's fine.
Okay. Kenneth Murray, 31 tackles and 2 sacks.
Yeah, I feel good. I think he's going to be fine. I mean,
it's him and Ernest.
Yeah, he's got big play upside. He's got the nice sack upside. Looks like we're probably going to see a career year from Kenneth Murray. So, yeah, and I imagine that Tennessee keeps him around again because it wasn't like they paid him a ton of money. And then Ernest Jones won't be there next season. So, I mean, I do kind of like Kenneth Murray a little bit because I think he's like, if you look at like just like the value of the linebackers there, I feel like most people probably prefer Ernest Jones just because he's had the hype around him for a while. Whereas I don't really think those guys are that different.
For sure, I agree. My thought with Kenneth is just that if Ernest plays like I think Ernest can it just hurt Kenneth Murray? Even if he plays 100% of snaps, can it hurt his stats a little bit? And maybe it can. I don't know. We'll see. All right, quick three pack here of defensive backs. Derwin James, 21 tackles, 1 sack in 3 games. He was suspended in week 4, and then he had a bye in week 5. But what do you think on Derwin?
Yeah, I like Derwin quite a bit.
The bye?
I think so. I mean, it feels like, can I get Derwin James for like a third and then just have this guy as my defensive back for the next like 5 or 6 years?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I feel like that's about where we're at with him. We're getting close to that, right? Like, he's not going to be much more than that. Maybe he's a third plus a fourth,
28.2 years old, so older than I thought he was.
Yeah. But, again, he's going to be someone that ages very well. Think about Harrison Smith right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be very much like the same type deal. He'll be 33, 34. We're talking about what a leader this guy is for this defense. So, yeah, it'll be good. I'm fine paying that. I think he'll be worth that, not trying to give much more than that, though. Not going to go give a second for him.
You'd trade Derwin, though, wouldn't you?
Depends. If I'm a contender, no, I think I will keep him.
Wow.
It is frustrating.
Yeah.
At safety, trying to figure it out. Like I'm okay keeping a guy like Derwin James.
It's almost harder to play in safety specific leagues this year.
Dude, I mean, just like thinking about my safeties, it's like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
Javon Holland, who now is on the shelf, but Jordan Whitehead.
Yep.
Picked up Tony Adams.
Yep.
You're
welcome. Dropped him.
Amani Hooker. It was like all these guys. It's Tyrone Honey Badger. I got him. So it's like, they're all solid safeties, but like figuring out which week to start these guys, like good luck.
Well, seeing mine's opposite to where I grabbed Jeremy Chin and Cam Curl, thinking, all right, new situation, new landing spot, new team, new DC. Let's figure it out. And been terrible.
Yeah.
Both of them been terrible. So now I'm rolling out Jason Pinnock, and I can't remember the other one. But it's been a rough life.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough. And it's like
I don't feel like anybody, any team, anybody rostering any safeties can sit back and say, I feel great right now. I've got blank safeties.
Basically all the DBs.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Branch was living up to the hype.
Agreed.
3 games, all 3 games were like over 20 points.
Yeah.
Right around that area. So he's hurt now, though. But, I mean, Kyle Hamilton, that hasn't been worth.
Nope. What you paid for him.
Right. Winfield, he's hurt.
Yep.
Probably wouldn't have paid off either way.
And Brisker still, too. Like, I love Brisker, and I'll talk about him a lot. But from a points per game perspective, he still probably let you down based on where you drafted him.
Yeah.
He makes fun plays. And he knocks people out. But
that was cool.
The points per game are always a little bit disappointing. Let's get to the next guy. I'm a little bit disappointed in Trent McDuffie. 15 tackles, no big plays through 4 weeks. I don't know what he did tonight, but just really hasn't taken over that L'Jarius Sneed role. He was better when Sneed was there, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, panic is definitely real for him. Just because, I don't think he's getting that role. It's been the Connor guy.
Him,
CC.
There you go.
But yeah, he's he's not L'Jarius Sneed. Like he's solid, he's good.
Yeah,
but he's not what L'Jarius Sneed was.
Yeah, for
fantasy.
A little different body type too. I think Sneed was a little bit bigger. McDuffie's better outside, I think, or at least in the slot.
Probably more. I mean, I feel like an outside corner is more useful, more what you want.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I don't know, slot just feels like it's not usually your best corners.
Yeah. Kind of place to hide them.
Yeah. Big physical, maybe a little bit slower.
For sure.
But yeah.
For sure. It's tough. All right. Xavier McKinney, last one, 19 tackles, 1 fumble recovery. And 5 INTs.
every game.
Every game
Every
this
game.
year. He
Actually-
counted them out the other day.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, every week he's got an interception. Actually, I sat him this week thinking, like,
Wow.
looking at his log, I was like,
Just can't keep up.
he's not getting the interception this week. And he got the damn interception this week.
So I guess this is kind of the opposite of panic meter, to where it's like, are you cashing in on this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. If I can get, problem is, I mean,
What's Ryan gonna give you?
everyone's so smart now. Everyone's very well informed. I mean, everyone's going to look at the stat line and see 19 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, 5 INTs,
Mhm.
and they're all going to put it together and think, well,
Oh,
that ain't going to keep up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a fun exercise, but I still don't know that you're going to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. If you league dummy, you just.
never know.
Actually,
They're
you
out
never
there.
know. You never know. I'm not in these leagues like a lot of these people are. Some of these trades that get sent to us, I'm like, what in the world? How is this happening?
Yeah. This got done, or this is what you sent?
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I guess anything can happen. I'm just probably a little jaded, and
sure.
these deals never happen for me. So maybe I'm just a little jealous. But yeah, sell McKinney now if you can. Don't go buy McKinney.
Yeah. Agreed. That was a good pick though of Matt Stafford. He actually had another one too. He almost had 6. Hit his hands and he just dropped it. But yeah, so those have been some guys that I just figured after 5 weeks of a little bit of data, we could kind of, make a little bit of a pivot on. We could either say, let's just stick with them, or let's go ahead and move on. But Addy, here to finish this up, I think you've got some quick little nugs.
Quick little hitters real fast.
Okay.
Get us out of here.
Sure.
Get us thinking about something before we go to sleep, right?
Sure.
Or start our day, whatever you're doing, whenever you're listening to this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.
Oh, we love you.
All right. Riley Moss. You got mossed. Averaging 13.8 points per game through his first 5 games this season. That is 19th best among all defensive backs. PFF numbers also very good. 79.8 overall PFF grade. That ranks 7th among all cornerbacks. And he will continue to have plenty of opportunity to produce playing alongside Pat Surtain, who defenses like to shy away from.
Oh, yeah.
You see what happens when they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Sherwood.
Yeah.
Showing teams he can handle being a top 2 linebacker. 83.4 overall PFF grade this season. That is 4th best among all linebackers. He's averaging 12.9 points per game and 8.3 tackles per game over his last 4. So I'm a big fan of Jamie Sherwood. I think he's going to potentially get a little shot next year somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think he's going to be like a solid little linebacker 2-3 for us.
CJ Mosley's supposed to be back this year.
I hope not, but
Yeah,
I think he
me
is.
too.
I think he's coming back.
I gotcha.
Mac Wilson snaps this season starting from week 1, 63% week 1, 44% week 2, 87% week 3, 85% week 4, 84% week 5. He has finished top 15 in 3 of his 5 games this season, folks. So Mac Wilson, I think he's going to be here to stay. Nice big play upside. He was one of the guys that I was very excited about this offseason, thinking that he could have a much bigger role. And we're starting to see it, and he's doing well with it. So I'm excited about him. Nick Hembig, he's back to being Hembig this week. 91.0 overall PFF grade. 90 pass rush grade week 5, 5 pressures on 28 pass rush snaps. So Nick Hembig doing the damn thing.
He would have had that solo sack if TJ Watt also hadn't been there as well.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, I guess, when you're back there with TJ.
Sure.
Aiden Hutchinson leads the league in pressure rate, 23%, and pressures per game, 10 pressures per game. Like the next closest person was like 5.8. So he is crushing it this season.
Wow.
And then also want to give one final shout out to one of the olds of the league, 38-year-old Calais Campbell, 38.
Older than us.
That's wild.
Wow.
14 pressures on 92 pass rush snaps this season. He's currently the DL 43 in Big 3 scoring. So
wow.
That also tells you like the state of defensive tackle too, that this guy is one of the better options this year.
He's a DT2 in the XFL.
He's my starter in a league.
I don't normally say this about edges because I'm with you. I kind of like to farm them a little bit. I kind of like to do my own thing when it comes to edges. If you can get Aiden Hutchinson, go get him. Like he's not. There's not too many people in IDP that feel like he's like they're worth an overpay. There's those types on the offensive side to where it's like, to me, if you can get like Jefferson, if you can get just like one of these elite like game breaking wide receivers, they're worth it. Aiden Hutchinson is just a maniac. Just watching him play. I mean, I know the NFL has been trying to get Detroit actually, on TV more, and that's been fun because they're really fun to watch, not only defensively but offensively as well. But dude, Aiden, oh my gosh, I think you were right in moving him to the overall, not only just the player one, but the edge one as well in your Dino ranks.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like
Looks different,
kind of like clearly the guy right now.
Yeah.
It seems,
Mm-hmm.
with well, I don't know. I mean, there are some good pass rushers. Nick Bosa is pretty damn awesome.
He is.
He's crushing it.
He is.
But they're like,
Aiden's
they're like
just so
4 years older than Aiden.
That's exactly
That's
it.
the difference.
And Aiden's so disruptive. You have to think about him on every single play.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna age well, right? Like he's gonna be.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about him.
Yeah.
When he's in his early 30s, like he'll be like we'll probably have the same conversation we're having about TJ Watt right now.
It's fun to hear about some of these teams like in training camp and stuff and in practice to where they're like, we have the Myles Garrett rule or we have the Maxx Crosby rule. We're like, sometimes they just have to make like Max sit out. I heard about this the other day to where it's like he blows up so many plays that we can't actually get practice done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Aiden is the same situation where like, dude, stop.
And they also like don't have but just one speed.
Yeah.
It's just
go.
Full go.
Absolutely. Addie, you want to finish this off here with your top 25 tweet?
Oh, yeah. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, please do. I didn't realize Calais Campbell was 38 years old. That's pretty awesome. That makes me feel young. I don't feel as old tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to start tweeting again, folks.
I love that. On X.
The phone has been an issue lately, but we got back on.
We can see what we're tweeting now, guys.
We're good now. We're back in it. All right. So top 15 finishes at linebacker, DL, DB through 5 weeks. Who has the most of them? So again, who has the most top 15 finishes at each position? At linebacker, Robert Spillane, 4.
Big Bob.
So he's finished top 15 in 4 of his 5 first games.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
insane. Bobby Wagner still doing the damn thing. He's got 3 top 15 finishes so far this season. Aziz Al-Shir, he has 3. Mac Wilson,
Wow,
has 3. Tyrell Dodson has 3. So that's who we got at linebacker. Those are your top 5 at linebacker.
I wonder if Mac Wilson's have come in the last 3 weeks when his snap percentage went up.
He had one. I think week 1 he was up there.
Okay.
On a limited share, and then I think the other 2 have.
Yes, you're right. Week 1, week 3, week 5.
So, yeah, I think he's going to be a great option this year.
I dropped him after week 2 when those snaps went to about 40%.
Mr. Patient right here. Defensive linemen who have top 15 finishes. TJ Watt has 3.
Wow.
Nick Bosa has 3.
Okay.
Kyle Van Noy has 3. Andrew Van Ginkel has 3.
Wow. Just like we all predicted.
Exactly. And then defensive back, there have been only we have 2 with 3. Brian Branch.
Okay.
And he's only played 3 games. And then Paulson Adebo.
Wow.
I didn't see what he did this week.
Yeah, I haven't checked out the game tonight. Let's do that. Let's pull it up real quick.
Yeah, why not?
See if there's any big hitters.
But Adebo's been awesome. Alontae Taylor's been awesome.
Yeah. Been some really good ads there for the Saints. Okay, so let's look tonight here. Some big plays. The Mario Davis had 11 tackles tonight. Nick Bolton also had 11 tackles tonight to Adam's delight.
Hate that.
Tranquil had 5 tackles. McDuffie had 5. Any sacks here? Brian Brissy had a sack. Oh, your boy Chase Young had a sack for the Saints earlier on. So only 3 sacks total for both teams on the night. That's right. Kalen Sanders had that interception.
Oh wow!
What a rumble back to the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that was one of the sickest plays I've seen in a while
for Mr. Saunders. Brian Cook had an INT. Colton Steele had some good kick return yards. Nothing really outside of Anthony Orgy. That how you say his name?
I think it's definitely Orgy. 100% orgy.
Jonathan Abrams sighting there with 8 tackles for the Saints. Carl Granderson, no sacks tonight. So I don't know.
Alontae Taylor, solid, 15.8.
Yeah.
And Adebo had 11. So still,
You'll take it
solid options there for defensive back.
in the barren landscape of safeties and DBs this year. We will take a finish like that.
Bressee's been really good this year.
Yeah, Brissy is coming on.
I mean, that's 4 sacks for him through 5 weeks. So
and he started doing this a little bit.
yeah, he started. They started playing him more at the end of last year.
Exactly.
He had 3 sacks over his final 4 games last season. So yeah, he's
first round draft pick.
When you look at it like that, man, it's actually 8 sacks. No, let's see. It's 7 sacks over his last 9.
Wow.
So Bressee's balling right now.
Wow.
Very hot.
That's awesome. Brian Brissy, take him over Dexter Lawrence. You heard it here
That's
first.
right. Also, shout out Trayvon Walker. It's nice to see him have a monster week.
Mm-hmm.
So good for him. He was one of the guys that pressures have been looking good.
For sure.
Just wasn't converting on the sack. So
Trayvon or Josh Allen in Dynasty.
Man,
something to think about.
I would hope that I could get a little bit of plus with Trayvon, but I mean,
it's not as far off as an equal trade than it.
There's like probably 3 or 4 years of age difference there too. So
yeah,
it may seem like, if straight up it seem like a loss right now, but I mean
if you're gaining 3 years,
you could
sometimes
look a lot different in a year or two.
I love it. Well, Addy, that's all for us. We hope y'all had a good time here with us. It took us a cool, I don't know what we're in, about an hour in at least. Yeah, hour 7 in.
Not bad.
Yeah, Joshy, please come back. This was really difficult. We missed the 3-man banter here with you, wherever you are up in the Northeast with Lauren. I don't know what to tell you all to do other than check out the idpshow.com. We've got pods coming all week. We've got people doing, me and Adam here doing the recap episode. We've got the week 6 preview episode coming up this week. We've got start sits coming this weekend. We've got articles from Wohlert. We've got rankings on the website. We got it all. Adam, what do we not have? Tell them that. That might be easier.
Yeah, we got it all.
Yep.
There's nothing that we don't have, and nothing that we ain't gonna get.
There you go. You heard it here first. All right, guys. Thanks for having us. We'll see you all next week.
It's the